Naughty Dog's newest game, Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, has been getting roasted across the internet, but of course, the mainstream media is going to run to this company's defense, and now Kotaku is saying that the trailer has completely won them over, and people are pointing and laughing at how ridiculous they've sounded. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, gamers love to point and laugh at the mainstream media when they sound ridiculous, and that's like 85% of the time. They're completely out of touch with what audiences want, and then they go, oh my gosh, you're all sexist and racists and bigots for not just shutting up and consuming products, and that's what they're doing because they've put out this nice long article defending Naughty Dog in the Game Awards, and they're trying to get people hyped for this title that really we don't have a lot of information about. People are just judging this initial teaser, but it's not enough to get a lot of people hyped, myself included. I want to see some kind of either like story explanation or I want to see gameplay, and that's not happening in this. It's basically just nostalgia bait with brands like Porsche and Adidas and Sony, while also highlighting the fact that they have a strong independent woman as the lead, which isn't really that rare anymore. A lot of lead characters in games now are females, which is perfectly fine. I'm fine with playing as a female. Obviously, some of my favorite characters in video games are female, but it's the aesthetic of this character and this world that's just making people kind of cringe. It just looks like Starfield, and well, that's not a good comparison, though now Kotaku is trying to defend this, saying Naughty Dog's Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet trailer has completely won me over. I want to be alone in space, probably being a criminal too, so they didn't even read the description of this trailer on like the YouTube video or the X post, because it literally says that this person is a bounty hunter. So, yeah, you're obviously going to be a criminal. And we know just by some of the like news article clippings on the wall of her ship that she was part of a group called the Five Aces, and that's clearly what the mission is going to be, at least for the first half of the game, is going around getting your team back together. That's why people are memeing on it, saying it's similar to Concord. I feel like these journos just don't actually pay attention. It's really not that hard to follow. They say, I love movies and games about space. I love movies and games about isolation. I think in my ideal reality, I'd be aimlessly floating in a little space station with excellent Wi-Fi and perhaps a module for my wife and kid. When I see such circumstances represented in games, I'm always absolutely intrigued. From No Man's Sky to Subnautica to Raft to 2008's Minecraft even, I'm so drawn into the serenity of solitude, and despite having a name I cannot remember 13 seconds after typing it, Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet immediately gave me those same vibes. So, guys, it's all about the vibes, not actually about paying attention to what this game is. We didn't get that much information, but we did get a little bit, and they still didn't actually, kind of absorb those pieces of info. But yeah, I love movies and games about space. Don't get me wrong, though we've seen an abundance of them over the past couple of years. And honestly, I'm kind of sick and tired of seeing these games, at least for now. Starfield was kind of supposed to be the biggest launch of them all, and it really was a flop. It, in my opinion, was not the amazing game we were all expecting. I still didn't think it was terrible. It had a lot going for it, but it was nowhere near a 9 or a 10 out of 10, and that was the level of hype that we had because we had been waiting so many years, and they kept hyping it up, saying it was going to be an amazing game, and it really wasn't. But let's just be honest, it doesn't seem like Naughty Dog is really going to take this in the direction direction that a lot of people are going to enjoy just because of the way that this lead character acted in the couple of seconds that we got to know her. She was very snobby, very snarky. She just seemed very annoyed. She seemed like an angry, independent woman, and we've seen way too many of those in entertainment over the past couple of years. And maybe this will turn out to be great. I mean, it's still a long ways away, but on the flip side, if you are showing us a teaser, you have to expect us to be critical of it and judge it, because the only reason you're releasing a trailer is to try to get people excited, and that's not always going to be the case. But heading on over to the tweet, people are being brutal. I mean, they are getting completely ratioed, 500 likes to over 800 comments, 142,000 views. I mean, this is pretty standard for Kotaku when they have some sort of bad take that they want to churn out, and people are not afraid to voice how dumb they sound. How pathetic. Lesson number one, be like any Kotaku writer, and I apologize to any proper writer who gets offended by the Paragon. It's completely going to die with gamers like Concord, no matter how hard you shill. Yeah, it's funny to me that the media is already trying to shill for this game when they know absolutely nothing about it. What is there to get hyped for here? It reminds me of the Elder Scrolls 6 trailer we got 7, almost 8 years ago, which is insane to think of. All we saw was a mountain and a logo, and sure, I'm excited for the game if it ever comes out at this point, but there's nothing there that you could point to and go, oh my god, this is gonna be a banger of a release. We didn't see any gameplay, we didn't see any characters, like there's only a logo there. And sure, if you love a franchise, I could understand being a bit hyped for the fact that a new game is coming out in a series, but this is a brand new franchise and they're already saying this is going to be so vibey. It's going to be so much fun. You know nothing about it, guys. The kiss of death. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. I mean, this really is the way that the lead character looks. Oh, really? We got the avatar over here. Non-binary. Non-binary, don't buy, no buy, no buy. I mean, that doesn't take much for you guys. It's quite sad, actually. Oh, look, another game that Kotaku likes. I bet it's gonna flop. Kotaku doesn't even make their own opinions anymore. They just inverse whatever general player impression is and live on the hate clicks. Lesbian in space, where no man has gone before. If Kotaku says a game is good, I don't buy it. Well, if Kotaku likes it, it means it's awful. And there has just been a lot of backlash surrounding this game since it was announced at the Game Awards. A lot of people are just genuinely confused as to the direction that they're going in and the decisions that they've ultimately decided to make. I mean, even Asmongold had posted, maybe it's just me, but I feel like the market for masculine, non-conventionally attractive female leads in games isn't as big as the video game industry thinks it is, which I completely agree with. It's fine to have masculine, non-conventionally attractive characters in games, but there's an overabundance of them at this point in time, and whenever we criticize them, we're called racist, sexist, bigots, any sort of ist or phobe, which is fucking insanity. We're allowed to criticize a character. It is what it is. And this really isn't what gamers want to see all of the time. These people can act like it, but it's certainly not the case. I had also made a post saying nostalgia bait and strong woman equals journo W, because that really is the mentality of these people. And they're saying IGN has reviewed this game and rated it a 7. These people were the same people who were obsessed with bear sex in Baldur's Gate 3. Kotaku likes it. If you needed any reason to not play it, here it is. So, of course, I will be keeping my eye on this game as we get closer to release. Who knows when it's actually going to launch, but it's Naughty Dog, and we've seen the level of disrespect that Naughty Dog has levied towards us with The Last of Us Part 2, saying that we're terrible people for not shutting up and buying their game. they've already actually tried to silence people because trailers kind of exploded, the dislike ratios exploded, and they disabled the comments on the trailer because they didn't want people to be able to just talk about their initial thoughts and impressions. They actually shut off the comments as soon as the trailer went live on the Naughty Dog channel because they clearly could tell that it was going to get raked across the coals, which is never a good sign. I mean, why are you going to create a game that you know is going to be highly criticized? It is what it is. It's Neil Cuckman. Can't expect anything from him at this point in time. But yeah, I will be keeping my eye on this title as we get closer to release. But so far, things are not looking so good because Naughty Dog's already silencing people. The media is trying to defend this game, and gamers are roasting them for it. But that's all that I had to discuss. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.